Hello, everyone. For those of you who are already here, you're right on time, so that's amazing. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll wait for maybe just another minute until this room fills up a little bit more. Okay, I think we should already get started then. So, welcome everybody to the webinar. This is a webinar that's hosted by Apolix together along with Celonis. We're uncovering the applications of GenAI with Celonis. Let's get started with the introduction of who we are. Mio, would you like to kick it off?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you so much for your time today. My name is Mio, and I work as a value engineering manager here at Celonis. I support our customers and our partners, and my team does the same to identify the value opportunities within business processes and then realize that value together by leveraging AI, process intelligence platform, and working very closely with our partners, as one of them is obviously Apolix, who work very closely to drive that value together. And a little bit about my background. I am coming from a machine learning and AI background where I did my PhD in engineering and really passionate about the topic and how Celonis process intelligence platform enables enterprises to drive the AI across.
Thank you so much, Mio. So I'm Noel Vasanth. I'm a senior process intelligence consultant at Apolix. I use Celonis to build solutions for companies which help them make their processes more efficient. I have an educational and practical background in AI, and I'm excited to show you all today some applications of specifically Gen AI in process mining to help you understand the possibilities and to inspire you to leverage this powerful combination in your businesses. So who is Apolix? Apolix is a Celonis-only platinum partner. We are the one-stop shop for process improvement. We have a wonderful international team speaking every language you'll ever need, which is reflected in our happy customers ranging globally. So with Celonis at our core, our methodology revolves around these three pillars: process intelligence, process excellence, and strategy and governance. So with process intelligence, we're generating process insights, identifying process variations and areas of improvement. With process excellence, we're turning process insights into actions, tracking changes, and establishing solutions. And with strategy and governance, we work together with our customers to strategically create a long-term model for lasting positive impact within their organization. Over to you, Mio.
Thank you so much, Noel. So just briefly to introduce who we are, who is Celonis. So Celonis' journey started in 2011 when we pioneered a technology that's known today as a process mining. So what does process mining really do? It helps organizations to capture inefficiencies and process deviations, identify those value opportunities which are hidden in the complexity of the enterprise and the way the enterprises are run. And since that day, as you can see on the left-hand side, we have more than 1,300 customers that we are working together and driving enormous value for those organizations. In parallel, we are working very closely with a very large number of partners. And as I said today, we are working very closely with Apolix as well. And if you look at that journey from 2011 to 2023, the transition really happened from moving from process mining on its own into how we help our customers to drive the value from Celonis Process Intelligence Platform. And this is where Process Intelligence Platform was born to enable our customers to identify inefficiencies, take the actions, model processes, and at the same time allow you to plug in third-party technologies, such as, for example, Copilot by leveraging LLM models from OpenAI platform, etc. So what Celonis Process Intelligence Platform does is not just identifying opportunities, driving value, enabling AI across the organizations, and allowing integration with third-party tools. And I'm equally conscious that many of you on the call possibly are not having a clear understanding of what the processes are and what the complexities are. So let me just really quickly cover where do we come from. So if you think about any process within an organization, and every organization is comprised of a number of different processes, such as procurement, accounts payable, order management, and so on. All these processes are designed to be as straight, as linear as the one on the left-hand side. If you engage with business and SMEs, you would start to understand that there are certain deviations to the processes that are actually allowed, and they are happening as part of day-to-day operation. But once you connect to the data from the ERPs, CRMs, data lakes, you start to see the complexity that is actually presented on the right-hand side. And I always remember one of my very first proof of value projects where we connected to a very small sample of data and saw more than thousands and tens of thousands of different deviations that process is actually run underneath. So this is a bit of context of what is the problem that we are solving together. And now let's go back to the topic of GenAI and how AI and Celonis, how does it work together? So if you think about consumer market today, it's very easy, and I'm pretty sure that everybody on this call has already tried ChatGPT and asked a number of various different questions where ChatGPT would scrape the internet, scrape Wikipedia, various archives and blogs for the context and the data from different number of books, articles, and posts, and would give you a pretty good answer to that. But if you think about the enterprises, there is a lot of data which is being recorded and collected on number of CRMs, ERPs, and data lakes. What is really missing today to ask such questions is the context. And the context is actually something that will move from something being very general to being personalizable and specific for a particular problem. So what I would like to really briefly cover here and explain the concept is a Celonis Process Intelligence Graph, which actually brings that context to us while it's bringing the data itself. I think the best way to actually start explaining what Process Intelligence Graph is to look at this particular example. Let's say you would like to ask today within the order management process, how do I improve my on-time delivery rate? And if you don't have any enterprise context to actually answer this question, it will be extremely hard to get anything more than generic response that you are seeing on the left-hand side. Once you add the context to this particular information, such as sales orders, purchase orders, delivery notes, and so on, you are able to get a response which is personalized and relevant to solve this particular problem, where you not only understand how you can improve it, but what is the improvement rate that you can achieve and where you should focus on today in order to drive that value. So this is enabled through what we call a process intelligence graph. In a very simple terms, what is the process intelligence graph? Well, there are two key components of process intelligence graph. First, it contains all the process data. And I mentioned a number of different processes. So it's basically all your sales orders, all your purchase orders, all your invoices, and any other parts of the processes that you can imagine. And this on its own wouldn't get us too far. But what Celonis allows you to bring into this process intelligence graph is also the context, the key KPIs and metrics that are relevant for the organization, the models of those processes that you have designed, and some of the industry benchmarks. So bringing all this together allows us to standardize the process data across the enterprises, but also to contextualize everything with this additional context that you are bringing in this single space. What is this creating? It's creating something that we call a digital twin of the entire organization. Why does this matter? It matters for a number of reasons, but for today's context, it really matters to enable enterprise-wide AI deployments. And we are going to see a number of different use cases that we have covered to date and how we enable this by leveraging the process intelligence graph at the core and the heart of the platform. Now, shifting towards AI offerings and how Celonis helps our customers drive the value from leveraging the AI technologies. There are, broadly speaking, two different areas. In the first area, Celonis supports our customers, and Celonis Process Intelligence Platform supports our customers to build and deploy AI solutions within Celonis platform. At the same time, you are absolutely able to leverage the data from Process Intelligence Graph and build and deploy outside Celonis. When we think about outside Celonis space, we are going to cover a few examples today. Celonis allows you to pull the key information outside of Celonis and leverage that information as part of Microsoft's Copilot Studio, Amazon Bedrock, or IBM Watson X. When it comes to building to deploying within Celonis, there are three broadly speaking areas. First one is AI Annotation Builder, which I'm going to jump and show you a quick demo of today. There's obviously process copilots where a number of our customers are leveraging already, and there are a number of AI-powered apps. The bottom line is, and the key enabler for such technologies is actually the process intelligence graph, which we have covered in the previous step. So let's now cover the very first part and introduce the AI Annotation Builder. So what does AI Annotation Builder do? So AI Annotation Builder allows you to capture the unstructured data insights, which you can surface from your emails, service tickets, and any other fields, feed it into GPT 4.0 OpenAI model, and then any other model that you can think of, and then get a structured response that you can use to enrich your already existing data within Celonis. That's one area. The second area is really about allowing you to improve the decision making in a bit more automated way, where you can integrate a bit more complex reasoning with domain knowledge and data. So these are two, broadly speaking, areas that we can think of. What I would like to do now is really jump and show you a quick demo of how our customers today are leveraging Celonis Annotation Builder to categorize the customer service tickets that are coming as a free text. And that's what we are going to see in the next 3 minutes. Let me just share my screen very quickly, and we'll jump straight into it. So what you're seeing here on the screen is really something that we call a knowledge model. And I already hinted a bit of that when I talked about the context that Celonis brings together into Process Intelligence Graph. This is where all your KPIs, records, metrics, and models are actually stored. And what Celonis does when it comes to Annotation Builder is really taking three key pieces of information. So you are able actually to configure your AI Annotation Builder to take this data in the free text from a description of customer service tickets and from the unique ID that each customer service ticket would have. Once you define these two key pieces of information, you are able to build your own prompt. And this prompt could be built in multiple ways. You're also able to write your prompt yourself and say, define that you are a service ticket categorization specialist, define what you want to achieve with that prompt, and then select the large language model in this step. You also are able to leverage something that we call Celonis Prompt Assistant, where you basically define and say what kind of prompt you want to generate, and Celonis Prompt Assistant would generate the prompt which you can then review and use for further analysis. Once that's defined, then you need to define where the data, this enriched data which is categorized, will be stored by defining the column name and the description of it. And these are really the three steps that you need to do. The moment we do that, we then are able to take all these free text tickets that you are seeing here in the middle and all the tickets IDs, and Celonis Annotation Builder would provide us with which particular category is this ticket falling into, but also what is the reasoning behind that. So what does this mean? It means that these tickets are routed to the right individuals, saving a significant amount of time and effort for our customers today, but also reducing the overall cost of handling those tickets in real time. So this wraps up my first part of the demo, and I would like to now hand over to Noel to take us through some exciting work.
Thank you, Mio. Okay. So from what we've seen so far, Celonis has its own capabilities in its AI annotation builder. But I would like to show you the ways in which we can integrate GenAI for any use case with Celonis. This can be replicated in your own process mining environments as the methodology is the same. And here's what that looks like. So the methodology shown here assumes that the data that requires a GenAI solution exists in Celonis, and it defines the simplest setup you must have to integrate LLMs to Celonis. The key components are shown here. You have a process mining platform such as Celonis, you have a large language model such as ChatGPT, and you have a software that can enable the communication between the platform and the LLM, such as, in this case, Python. And this communication happens via API calls. So the communication flow is very straightforward and is as follows. First, Celonis data is extracted using Python. Second, with Python, a prompt is made to be sent to the API. This is done iteratively or all at once, depending on how the prompt is engineered, as well as depending on the problem. Third, the API generates the required response and is collected back into Python. Finally, the response is processed and digested back into Celonis for analysis. Now, the basic flow can be enhanced at any step with further processing. For example, you can ask the LLM to generate annotations of your data set. And using these annotations as parameters, you may need to standardize your data or categorize your data into smaller subsets for the sake of reducing redundancies in your data. And this can be done in step 2 and 3, respectively. So where in step 2, the prompt can be engineered to generate these annotations, and in step 3, a clustering algorithm can be run on these word embeddings of the annotations for categorization. I will now demonstrate the results of these integrations with examples in Celonis. So let's take a look at one of these example use cases. I took a data set of reviews left by customers for McDonald stores in the United States. The aim of this example use case is to solve two problems. Whenever a customer leaves reviews, they would like a problem in your process to be solved. But to read, understand, and identify which aspects of your process need to be solved, that requires effort. A large number of reviews requires more effort, which is usually the case. This is a bit different from identifying aspects because it's more about performing a repetitive task, which could be automated and therefore requires unnecessary effort. So the integration we saw previous with GenAI solves these two problems. And we iteratively generate for each review what the sentiment of the review is, as well as what aspects of the process the segments of the review pertain to. So let's take a look at the results in Celonis. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Awesome. So we're looking at a Celonis dashboard where you can see the analysis for the McDonald's reviews. I've ran through around 2,000 reviews. And of course, this is from an open source data set, which contains information about these reviews scraped from Google reviews. What we can see immediately is the distribution of the overall satisfaction. And you can see that most of these are positive. The ones we want to focus on are the negative ones, neutral ones, and the mixed ones. That's fairly simple to do, of course, in AI, but these are also then sentiments that have been generated by the GenAI. So let's take a look at some of these reviews and see actually what's going on here. Let's filter maybe by a rating that is a positive review. So let's take a look at this review. We can see that this customer says that the food was given fast, there was friendly service, and his food was fresh. So if we click on this, what is going on with the GenAI is that the review was segmented into different parts, and for each part, it was asked to generate an aspect pertaining to this segment. And each aspect was then also analyzed whether it was positive, negative, or neutral. So we can see here that as a human as well reading this, that I can say that there are definitely two aspects here to consider, one being the food, which was fresh, and one being the service. The overall satisfaction is reading the entire review, not just that segment, and then understanding whether overall does this reviewer feel a positive sentiment or negative sentiment. So the interesting thing about this is that these aspects are generated by the Gen AI. So it eliminates the need for a human to go in and interpret and identify which aspects of my process I want to focus on. So let's take a look at a few more reviews. Yeah, so this one says, hey, this McDonald's is pretty fast. The food is the same as all of the rest. So that's an interesting one because here we look at the generated aspects being variety and food to be neutral, whereas the service, of course, being fast is a positive sentiment. Here it says that there's busy locations, but great customer service despite rude customers. So we do see that there's some negative aspect here, but let's see how the Gen AI understood that information. So we can see that the aspect of customer behavior is understood to be a negative sentiment. Although that may not be something that you can control as a business, it is also interesting to see those cases where your customer behavior was negative. The location being busy is neutral, and the customer service, great customer service, so that's positive. Let's also take a look at some of these reviews that were badly rated. We can see, okay, this is the worst McDonald's I've been to. Very slow, orders always wrong, don't go there. So let's take a look at this one. Here we have a lot of aspects. Of course, they all seem super negative. The order accuracy is negative. The service being very slow is negative. The management should shut down, apparently. That's negative. The overall satisfaction, of course, negative. So what do we do with all of these aspects, right? Once we have them plugged back into Celonis, we can analyze these aspects, and that becomes quite interesting. So let's actually look at the states in the US that are having a lot of negative reviews. And we can see that, okay, Texas is a state that's doing badly, so we can filter on Texas. We can also then start to drill down into which city is my worst performing city in Texas. We see Dallas here. And then we can actually immediately find what are those detailed aspects that me as a store owner in Dallas needs to focus on, you know? So I can already see that something like service, food, and staff, those are three aspects that I would need to focus on. So you can also see that there are some aspects here that could be clubbed in together. For example, you have service, but you also have customer service. And those could essentially be the same thing. And that is where the enhancement would come in, where you can actually perform a standardization with clustering. You could group customer service and service together into one category. And then you can understand which aspects of your process to focus on. So I would also like to take you to another example. So this is a case that's more along the lines of what GenAI in your business can do for you with process mining tools rather than with actual process mining. And it's a use case on software harmonization. What does this mean? Imagine your business has tens and thousands of softwares, such as these images shown here: Microsoft Word, OneNote, you have Pages, Notion, Obsidian, Notepad. You can have many different apps that all do the same thing. And let's just say that that category is a note-taking app. You can write notes in them. A business would generally have to pay money to obtain all of these apps. And you can make a case for this being a process mining use case if you want to have a core methodology in your processes associated with a core set of apps. So you can imagine maybe you have a software like Ariba to contain your procurement process data, but you also have SAP, which can do a similar job. So why have different apps causing employees to differ in their work due to the opportunity to use these different apps? Why not harmonize all the softwares in your business? And this again is achievable with GenAI, as previously with the previously mentioned integrations. We've actually seen the success of this with our implementations in one of our customers. So let's once again take a look at Celonis and see the results of this use case. I'm going to just get in here. Okay. So this is already the result of the integration with GenAI. And what we fed to the AI is we fed the names of these applications. What did we get in response? We asked for the category that this application belongs to. Sorry about that. Sorry. So we asked for the category, we asked for the description, as well as the feature list. So what are the features that this category or this application, what does it have? And a way to deduplicate these softwares would be with the help of this tool here in Celonis. And it's built over this integration. So I know a good one. Let's look at online collaboration. And in here you have softwares that you can do online collaboration with, like Teams and GitHub and Miro. And maybe you're a person who knows the difference between Teams and GitHub, right? But then we want to think about what features GitHub has versus what features Teams has. And we want to group applications that have similar features, right? Because probably these things don't have the same features. So with that, we do step 2, where I want to see things that have online collaboration. I want to see things that have communities sharing and efficiency boosting. And we say that these must have these 3 features. And then I'm with 7 applications here, which essentially have the same features and are part of the same category. And it's a start for a user to come in here and then identify, okay, maybe we only need one of these softwares. But the ability to do this analysis was because of the combination of GenAI with Celonis. So these integrations with Celonis GenAI create very powerful tools to make your business more efficient while giving you the freedom to focus on the analysis and the next steps. And we've seen this at our very own customers. This is a simple integration that we've done at Apolix and has saved them a lot of manual and repetitive processing, as well as brought them immense value, providing a reliable solution in its place. So now Mio will take you into what else Celonis is working on and what more they can do in the same space.
Thank you so much, Noel. And it is pretty impressive to see that innovative side of you as a partner and how you are leveraging the Celonis platform as a foundation to be innovative and keep building new use cases to support our customers to drive even more value in the future. So really excited to see what's next to come.
Thanks, Mio.
Cool. Going back to the initial slide of building and deploying solutions in Celonis and outside Celonis. We've just seen an annotation builder, and we've seen great innovation done by our partner Apolix. The other 2 buckets in this particular area is obviously to be able to deploy process copilots and AI-powered apps. So let's now jump through into each one of them. So when it comes to the process copilots, you obviously are able to deploy a copilot within Celonis or leverage data from Celonis to deploy it outside as Microsoft Copilot Studio, Amazon Bedrock, IBM Watson X, etc. The main purpose on Microsoft Copilot, on Celonis, is really to allow you to democratize the access of insights to anybody within an organization by leveraging the natural language conversations. This obviously doesn't only saves the time, but also saves all the effort and helps organizations to impact other business objectives, which I'm going to talk you through one of the exciting use cases. And then finally, it can be really customizable to any use case. So it's use case agnostic in this case. So just to take you through one of the exciting examples, which is probably one of my favorites. So if you think about organizations such as Smurfit Westrock, who have a number of different plants across the globe, Smurfit Westrock leveraged Celonis Process Copilot to help the plant technicians to understand where they can get the spare parts, which are absolutely critical for the operation of the plant. And having such a large organizations across different geographies, Process Copilot allowed plant technicians who are not super technical to quickly get to this insight, source the spare part from nearest geography in order to be able to drive the value and reduce the downtime of the plant in this particular instance. And this is a very simple leverage of Celonis Process Intelligence platform at the heart and core, which standardizes and contextualizes that data, and the Copilot sitting on top to support such the ask that plant technicians would have. And obviously, this is not the only one. There are a number of other customers who are today leveraging Process Copilot, and we'll cover that towards the end of the presentation today. But it's in automotive, it's in public sector, it's across retail and any other industry you can think of. And then the third part of building and deploying within Celonis is really about AI-powered apps. So what these apps really do, you've seen the part of my demo where I spoke about capturing key KPIs, metrics, and the whole knowledge model. So these apps are actually pre-built solutions from Celonis and our partners, which are sitting on top of that process intelligence graph and allow you to think about lead time recommendations, which we support on the global car manufacturers, free text optimization when it comes to procurement itself or customer service tickets, as we discussed, but also capturing duplicate invoices, for example. Whenever you pay your suppliers twice, Celonis Duplicate Invoice Checker, which is one of the pre-built solutions, can allow you to capture that and recover that revenue back to the business. And then finally, there are obviously a number of other apps, which I mentioned Duplicate Checker, but there are obviously ticket routing, master data deduplication, and so on, which you can actually leverage these AI-powered solutions on top of process intelligence graph and drive significant amount of value. Now, thinking about our customers who already have other solutions in place, who are, let's say, leveraging Microsoft Copilot Studio or have Amazon Bedrock, what Celonis does in this particular instance to support our customers is to leverage something that we call Intelligence API. So Intelligence API allows you to pull the key data from that knowledge model and process intelligence graph into the third-party solution. And that, as I said, could be one of them, could be any other that you can think of. And this allows our customers to continue the innovation in that space whilst leveraging Celonis Process Intelligence platform, which is open to allow you to pull that data out and continue analysis to drive the value. As you can see here, there are already a number of our customers who are leveraging that today across not only finance, but also supply chain and other services within the business. So to wrap it up, in terms of the slides for today, what we brought here together, Noah and I, is really where Celonis and AI play together today is really across the finance, supply chain, or any other process that you can think of. And I will not certainly go through each one of these use cases, but I would like to say is that I remember about a year ago, it was more about let's experiment and figure out what are the right use cases. What I'm pleased to announce today is that we do have these use cases live today, sitting within Celonis platform and supporting our customers to drive significant amount of value across each of these processes. This would wrap up the presentation part, and unless Noel has anything else to add, we'll be happy to take any questions.
Nothing else to add, Mio. Thank you so much. I already do see a question in here. What is the process mining aspect of the McDonald's use case? And that is true. It's because, I mean, I only showed you the GenAI solution of that, but how exactly does that tie into process mining, right? That is an interesting one because, you know, as a reviewer, as a person who's leaving a review, you're usually, when you do so for a business, it's tied to your order. And if that is so, then you have an order number that's linked to you, that's linked to your review. You have a timestamp for when that review happened as well. That can obviously take it back to your order management process, where you can track that order. You can see the activities that happened that led up to a negative review. And when that happens, you can then identify this pattern of activities, and you can see maybe this is always leading to negative reviews. And as a person who manages that store, you can always say, okay, I want to eliminate this pattern, right? So how do I do that? And that's where it gets interesting with process mining, which then is fully embodying that combination of GenAI and process mining.
So,
thank you for the question.
Yeah, I think the second one I can probably take myself. So it looks pretty powerful. Does it mean Celonis enables AI across the enterprise? Can you explain the how? This is a really good question. So if you think about today's challenge, there is a lot of data, as we have mentioned, is being collected. What's really missing is that context to enable you to deploy the AI in more meaningful and scalable way. Process intelligence graph is really the enabler that creates digital twin, but also standardizes and contextualizes that data, which is extremely important to be able to deploy meaningful AI. And we are already seeing that with our customers today, who are leveraging not only Copilots, are leveraging some of the root cause analysis, et cetera, et cetera. So process intelligence graph is what really enables the scalable AI across the enterprises. I can probably go for the third one as well, Noel, if that's okay. Yeah. So does Celonis support any other models apart from OpenAI, and does it work on it? No, that's a good question, and apologies if I didn't cover that. OpenAI is one of the models, but you can bring any other model that you can think of, or the custom or custom-grown or homegrown ones. And it's not a it's not a solution that works only in Microsoft Copilot Studio. You can leverage Amazon Bedrock, IBM Watson X, and we are working on integration of the others as well.
Okay, I can take the next one. So the demo with McDonald's was interesting. Thank you. My question is, in the summary, you mentioned Python extracts information from Celonis and passes it to the language model. Can you go more in depth on how Python does this extraction, how the language model retrieves information, which is proprietary, of course, from Celonis or customer company, such as McDonald's, in order to generate a process graph, right? Is there an RAG, retrieval augmented generation feature involved? Okay, complex question there, Joel. But yes, in summary, of course, Python does extract information from Celonis because Celonis has its own Python library. It's called PyCelonis, and the information exists within the Celonis environment, of course. But once we need just the let's say the review, or let's say the name of the software, so on, that information is sent to the API, and that then gives back the information in a JSON file, and that gets digested back into Celonis. How the language model retrieves that information, of course, it is proprietary, but it uses the general ChatGPT model. Of course, when you have a developer license, you can opt out of it training with that proprietary information. And generally, that pipeline is very private and safe. So there are no issues in terms of privacy. Is there RAG involved? there can be. I know that Celonis also has its own Copilot, and the AI model they're built is entirely based on the data model of the process intelligence graph that Mio was talking about. In those cases, it is a bit similar to RAG because the information that you're basing this retrieval on is the knowledge model in Celonis, which is your process data, and therefore it's the retrieval is augmented there. But in the case of whatever I've shown you with a very general methodology, there is no RAG feature that's involved. But I think my answer to that is that it can be involved if there needs to be. I hope that answered your question. Okay.
I see the question about how applicable is this solution across various industries.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty good question, and working in the function of value engineering, I really do interact across a number of different industries, and I can say that I'm really proud to be present in such a wide space, number of industries, from finance to supply chain, to even if you think about National Health Service in the UK, to patient flows, or to some of the retailers who specialize in automated robots picking up your orders. So it really is applicable across almost any industry. Would there be different security, privacy, data protection questions? Yes, absolutely. But the solution itself is applicable, and we are also having all those necessary certifications to enable our customers to leverage solution across even more sensitive industries, such as, let's say, regulated banking and finance, or patient data, who are already actually our customers today. I see the question about process intelligence graph allowing fusion retrieval-based and generation-based approaches. This is a really good one. So we do understand that in the fusion retrieval space, it's really about, you would really to collect the knowledge, right, from multiple different sources. So I think it's, of course, it is doable, but I would like to probably unpack a bit more in that space to see what are those multiple sources and how do we pull that data, and then we could obviously integrate that within process intelligence graph, which is probably a bit similar to what I have demonstrated today, with a bit higher level of complexity. Will the deck be shared with the participants? I think that's probably. I see one more question about the customer data leaving Celonis into OpenAI directly. So first of all, I think what's important to acknowledge here is that the Copilot in this space is actually running on Azure instance, where Celonis process intelligence platform is sitting at the same time. So there is certain data that would be required from the knowledge model, but that data is not stored anywhere, and that data is not used to train any of the OpenAI models directly. So it's purely used for the analysis and the purpose to reproduce those analyses required by the business. So the data is not stored, and we are not foreseeing any of those challenges with the current customers who are leveraging Copilot today. That seems to be all the questions so far.
Okay, then. I think we're also at the time. So I would like to thank everybody for joining us today. I think it was a pleasure to talk about this topic. I think Mio and myself are both very passionate about it. We would love to keep in touch. We will send the deck after. And thank you so much for joining.